Hey, what's going on, fam, out there, man? Just sitting back, relaxing on a Friday night. Really is early Saturday morning, just chilling. Man, I do a lot of my meditation at night. I guess I'm active when the rest of the world is sleeping. But it was something that I posted on Facebook, and I was just thinking about some things, man. But it was something that I posted on Facebook. I said some people hold on to misery as if it's like some type of inalienable right to do so. You know what I mean? And if you know what inalienable means, it means like you usually hear the word inalienable connected to your rights as a citizen of the United States. How your right to freedom of speech, your right to religion, the pursuit of happiness, different things, different rights that should come naturally as a human. Those are called inalienable rights. And what it means is that rights that you cannot be separated from, rights that that you can't give up, or rights that can't be taken away from you. Now, I'm talking about people holding on to misery as if it's an inalienable right, something that they don't want to let go, or something that they don't want you to take from them. And it's not your job to take away another person's misery, but when you care about somebody, you want them to get out of that funk. And I'm explaining to you how I know that people hold on to misery in such a way, because I've done it. Most of the time when I speak from the context of people I know, or most of the time things I've experienced or done. And, I was thinking about my Bible study, man. We don't study the Bible with people because if we don't have enough Bible studies, we're going to go to hell, or if you get enough Bible studies, we're going to go to heaven. No, it's because we want people to be happy. We want to share this happiness with others, in a world that's, troubling enough to make people depressed and miserable. But I think about how, you study with certain people and their life is in a mess. And you're trying to introduce them to a lifestyle and a way of living where most of God's people are happy, because you're surrounded by people who genuinely love God and genuinely love people. And anybody knows my story and how I grew up, and how even my relationship with my brothers and sisters, they know that it's been a dynamic one. I mean, and even I've had to remind myself of the type of brotherhood that I'm in, because it's hard. You deal with things, but I know of people who it just seems like they love being miserable. Almost like if you try to do things to help them, they almost fight you. They fight with you. They hold on to misery. Like I'm gonna give you a prime example. There have been times that I've been depressed. And so when you're depressed, being miserable follows. Now, people have called me, to check up on me, and they might have had something to say that would cheer me up, and then what? It will relieve me of my miserableness caused by depression. But I avoided that. People have come to the house. We love you. Come on, let's go do something. Let's go. Nah, I don't want to. Well, why not? Because I knew if I did something with them, or I embrace their help, then it would get me out of my misery. And you have some people who are afraid to be happy because they feel like their happiness is going to be short-lived. Like, what's the point of being happy when I know something else it's not going to last that long, or it's going to be something that's going to come up to take my misery away? Another situation, how I know that people hold on to misery is this. When I was little, my dad promised, hey, I'm going to come pick you up. I'm going to take you here or there or whatever the case. And he ended up not doing what he said. He ended up not coming to pick me up and spend time. And so I just shut down. I went in my room, laid there, didn't want to do anything. And my relatives called the house and they wanted to come pick us up and do something. Well, my brother got up and seized the opportunity, and I didn't want to go. I just wanted to stay and be miserable and wallow in what I felt, instead of just getting up, moving on, and making a choice of, regardless of the fact that I didn't get what I want, I still can be happy. I still can do something. So what I'm saying is that misery is a choice. Okay, misery is a choice. It's a choice. You choose to be miserable. And I say especially, I say this especially in our organization, because first of all, God is a happy God, and we're surrounded by people in God's organization who are happy. Do all of us get along all the time? No. But there are people who do love you and do generally want you to be happy. And sometimes, and another thing is too, sometimes when we're depressed or we're sad, we isolate ourselves. We push ourselves away from the very people who could get us out of our misery, who could make us happy. You automatically do that. And sometimes people who need the most help push people away. So I say that to say this, is that misery is an option. Don't think that it's not. You don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be miserable. And another thing is, here's one of the hardest things for me to accept. I never was the type of person who was asphyxiated with romance or having someone. I was always that type of person as a man, being a man and being a male and being a real male. Of course, I'm attracted to the opposite sex. But my mind has always been so occupied with learning, with creating, that always came second. That was never primary for me. So I find it hard that there are people actually miserable because they don't have anybody. It's almost like they're waiting for someone to make them happy. And to me, that's even scarier than not having anyone. Because how can you trust another human being who most of us are inherently selfish? Most human beings are selfish. So how can you put that much power into another person's hands? Another person determines whether you're going to be happy or not. And in reality, another person does not determine whether you be happy or not. That's on you. Because it depends on what you choose to focus on. You can be miserable and focus on the fact that you don't have a mate right now, or you can focus on the friends that you do have. Or you can focus on, if you don't have that many friends, you can focus on family members who are there by your side. So, the thing is, being miserable is a choice. You have the choice of being miserable, or you have the choice of going to the source of happiness. There were times that when I was going through something, instead of praying, because I have a relationship with Jehovah to the point that I know if I go to him, he's going to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? I've been in situations where I should have been the most miserable and I was the most happy. You're in prison and you're facing time for attempted murder. You're not surrounded by family. You're surrounded by killers. You don't know anybody. And I'm going to tell you, that was when I was the most content. That's when I had the most peace in a place like that. So there's no doubt in my mind that if I go to my God and I ask him to make me happy or get me out of my misery, I can. But there were times that, I almost clung on to misery, and there are some people, man, that when you look at them, it just seems like that's what they want to do. They want to be miserable. Like they want to. It's like, God, do you want to be happy? You might do things, you might say things, and they find something wrong or find something negative in everything. It's some people that I don't even like. How you got people that work so hard and work so much, they know that they need to take a vacation. They know that they need time for themselves. And even if they get time for themselves or they get a vacation, guess what they're still doing? They're working. They wouldn't even know what to do with a day off because that's all they know. They're so accustomed to working. They wouldn't even know. You got some people that's so miserable. If happiness was handed to them, they wouldn't even know the first thing to do with it. Man, life is too short. Our health is too fragile to be miserable. Being miserable is an option. Okay? It's an option. There's something you can do about how you feel. Now, I'm going to tell you, unforeseen occurrences, that means things that, you may not have things happen for out of nowhere sometimes. I mean, things that you're unaware of can happen to you. You can't stop that. Tribulation, pain, misfortune. You can't control that. But whether you allow that to make you miserable, you have control of that. So, I mean, especially this is my people in God's organization. And I need to remind myself of that. That whether I want to be happy or miserable is on me. Even if I encounter things that make me sad, I know who I can go to for relief. And I know if I don't come to him, he's coming to me. Am I going to embrace the spirit of happiness or am I going to fight it? Don't fight it. Embrace it. If you got people that's willing to make you happy or willing to help you, embrace them. Don't push them away. It's just some people that and invite misery, because that I don't understand, people that, they're in a crazy situation and you're trying to help them. And instead of accepting the help, they go right back into that thing they were doing to make them miserable. I don't, and we get beat up in this world so much. I think that there are people out there that feel like they don't deserve to be happy. It's some people that actually feel like that. I think we had it in the Draw Close book. How some people feel as though they're unworthy or, years of growing up being abused, and especially people who come out of abusive relationships. They definitely, there's a part of them that know that they should be treated a certain way and know that they're entitled to happiness. But for some reason, even it's some people that they meet somebody, they meet a good person, and the person is treating them good, and they still, in a way, try to find something wrong with that person. This is just too good to be true. This person got to be up to something. That person want to make you happy, but you're so used to being miserable. It's almost like you want to find some justification for something wrong to be going on. You want to. I know a situation. about had a brother, man. He was dating his sister, man, and she been hurt before and abused. And I told that man, I said, you gonna catch that. Whatever the baggage that the other person left, you gonna take that on. I said, because the person hasn't finished healing. You got people who've been through abusive relationships that have not fully healed, and they ready to jump out there, back out in the dating world, and they have not dealt with themselves. They have not healed themselves. They have not really came face to face with their demons, and they're ready to go out there prematurely. On one end, I don't trust nobody. I don't trust men, or I don't trust women, but then I want love. You got to let go. Let go of that misery, man. That stuff ain't cool. It's time consuming and it's a waste. Now, I might be talking this right now and something happened to me and y'all gonna have to cheer me up. But for the most part, man, DaRohn, I'm gonna tell you something about DaRohn. A lot of people look at me, you're so strong, you're intelligent, you tough. Let me tell you something. A lot of years of I cried a lot in my life. When your parents fight all the time, when they're arguing all the time, when you're put between their little civil war, between them, his side and her side, you cry. I cried a lot. And sometimes, you know what? You cry so much that you can't cry no more. And then you toughen up. You stiffen up. You toughen up. You harden up. That's what happened. But the point is, man, is this. I'm doing what I want to do with my life. And I don't want to allow anybody, I can't stand the thought of anyone controlling my happiness, any person. I'm not going to give nobody that much power. No one deserves that much power over me. And the only one that deserves that much power over me is Jehovah. And Jehovah is not trying to make me miserable. He's trying to make me happy. See, so my thing is, being miserable is a choice. Don't allow nothing to keep you in that misery. You could be sad for a while. You could be hurt, but don't allow yourself to be miserable. Peace and love, fam. Like Bob say, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. I tell you, boy, if I get in my little funky mode, hey, man, got my drums, got my guitar, got my reggae. If you pan over here, got my little drink. You see that little thing over there, the Bible. And more literature over there. So, at the same time, hey, it is what it is. Peace out, y'all, man. Think about what I said. One love. Peace. Peace, peace, peace. I don't know how to play.